Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Carter Six Pack. I'm Chris Carter, here, lead NFL analyst of DKPittsburghSports.com. In the Carter Six Pack, we pick a specific topic, whether it revolves around general sports, Pittsburgh sports, something that's going to get you going. We're going to count down top 6 in that topic, and we want to hear back from you, of course, the fans on Twitter. Follow me at Carter Critiques. On Twitter. You can follow us also at DKPittsburghSports.com for all our great work. But today's topic on the Carter Six Pack is the top 6 Super Bowl heroes in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Yes, a simple topic, considering the Steelers have won 6 Super Bowls. It should be simple, right? To pick through we'll just pick the Super Bowl MVPs. Wrong. That's not how we're doing that. That would be lame. We're not going to do it that way. We're going to pick 6 individual performances that, define the top, how the Steelers' legacy and moving forward. So let's go as we pick through each one, and we look at different people. We're gonna give our reasons why that person is the number that they're at. So starting here, let's go to number 6.
Number 6.
And at number 6, we have Terry Bradshaw in Super Bowl 13. Yes, you're going to think, he's a Super Bowl MVP. Obviously, we got to pick him. We're going to put him high. He's the quarterback. No, we're not going to put him that high, but we are going to honor his performance. He did have 2 legendary wide receivers. He threw for 318 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception to lead the Steelers to their 3rd Super Bowl victory, this one over the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl 13. Terry Bradshaw was resilient in this game. Tom Landry afterwards said, "We threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at him and couldn't stop him. He was unstoppable." But there's other guys that are on this list that contributed to that famous game in Super Bowl 13. Who are they? We'll get to that in a little bit. But Terry Bradshaw, our number 6 Super Bowl hero in Steelers history.
Number 5.
Coming in hot at number 5 is one of those players that stepped up in Super Bowl 13, Franco Harris. But we're not talking about his Super Bowl 13 performance where he said, "Just give me the ball," and he ran right through the Cowboys defense for a huge touchdown. We're going to talk about his Super Bowl 9 performance when he was Super Bowl MVP, 158 yards, most rushing yards in the Super Bowl. That guy, he took off in that game. He ran through the Vikings' purple people eater defense that was destroying everything in the NFC. It was such a sad moment for Alan Page and the old Vikings back then. They had a really great unit. They lost 4 Super Bowls spread out throughout the NFL history, but back then that was really their best shot. They had a Hall of Fame guy in Fran Tarkington. They had that great defense, and their offensive line was pretty solid too, but they just went up against the wrong ones on that day. Franco Harris ran for 158 yards and a touchdown. He was setting the tone the entire way. He did have some great blocking, but that was before they had Mike Webster. Ray Mansfield was still the center for the Steelers offensive line, but there were some great crackback blocks down the field by another guy that will appear on our list. We'll get to him in a few.
Number 4.
Coming in at number 4 is another Super Bowl MVP, their most recent Super Bowl MVP, Santonio Holmes, with his 9 catches for 131 yards, and of course the tippy-toe crazy touchdown that won the Steelers the Super Bowl 27-23 over the Arizona Cardinals in Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay. Back in Super Bowl 43, the Steelers needed Santonio Holmes. He could have been really the playoffs MVP. Of course, Larry Fitzgerald would probably get the first nod in that situation because he was ballistic and everything, but he scored in every single playoff game in that run to the Super Bowl. He scored on a punt return against the Chargers, a huge catch and run against the Ravens in the AFC Championship game, and then was instrumental in the drive that Ben Roethlisberger had to get down the field. He not only made the guys miss and kept the drive alive, but then he caught the most ridiculous catch in Super Bowl history. I know that everyone's going to say, what about David Tyree in a helmet kit? Did that win the game? No, it didn't. It extended the game. And guess what? It was over 3 different guys that Holmes had to make that catch with his toes perfectly planted in the back of the end zone. It is still the immaculate catch 2, immaculate reception 2, whatever you want to call it. That gets him up there. I put him at number 4 for that reason.
Number 3.
Coming in at number 3, we're going to stick at the wide receiver position, and it's going to be Lynn Swann, another Super Bowl MVP performance. In Super Bowl 10, you got to talk about how he abused Mark Washington, the defensive back for the Dallas Cowboys, as the Steelers went on to win their second Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys. Swann caught 4 catches for 161 yards and a touchdown. But what the stats won't show about what Swann did was that he made some of the most ridiculous, improbable catches in NFL history in the Super Bowl. Not the levitating leap that everyone talks about, because John Facendo, the voice of the NFL, is like with the autumn tundra, and all that stuff. But let's go back and look at the first catch he made. He leaps up from the sideline in between 2 defenders and snags a ball that's a good 3 feet over his head from Bradshaw. And it was fired. It wasn't a lob. Bradshaw fired a missile way over his head. He went up, caught it, came down inbounds, took the hit, fell out of bounds, held onto the ball the entire time. That was spectacular. Then, with the levitating leap, Mark Washington gets a hand on the ball. He tips it, and Lynn Swann finds a way to bat it back to himself and make a ridiculous catch at the 50-yard line, extending the Steelers' drive, getting them out of the back of the end zone. And, of course, he caught a huge bomb over Mark Washington from Terry Bradshaw. That would be the game-sealing touchdown pass, as Bradshaw will be knocked out at the end of the play. But Lynn Swann, absolutely, he deserved the Super Bowl MVP in Super Bowl 10, and he deserves to be on this top 6 list of Super Bowl heroes for the Steelers.
Number 2.
And number 2, coming in, we're going to take our first of 2 guys that weren't Super Bowl MVPs, but should have been considered, probably were considered. This number 2 is John Stallworth. In Super Bowl 13, he had 3 catches for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. I know everyone would say, well, what about Super Bowl 14? Yes, that was also impressive. He had 3 catches for 121 yards and 1 touchdown, but his performance in Super Bowl 13 was able to take the pressure off of Lynn Swann. Swann, who also in that game had a huge performance. He had 7 catches for 124 yards and 1 touchdown, but that was when the Swann and Stallworth connection took flight the most in the Super Bowl. Both were active, both were healthy, and both were tearing up the Cowboys defense. And again, Terry Bradshaw just throwing it up, and those guys going and get it. John Stallworth absolutely deserves it. I think it also gets an honorable mention for Super Bowl 14 when he had the reverse shoulder catch, and he had 2 huge catches in that game. But also, if you go back to Super Bowl 9, he laid a huge crushing block for Franco Harris down the sideline, a crackback that sprung him down the sideline for one of his longer runs of the day, just as he had done in the AFC Championship game against the Raiders in the very next season. But John Stallworth, absolutely deserving, has to be on this list. He's my Super Bowl hero number 2.
It's time to cash in on non-stop sports action with MyBookie.ag. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus MyBookie.ag will match your deposit with a bonus up to 100%. With decades of expertise and no-hassle payouts, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code DKRadio to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-BETS or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. Sign up today.
Miller Lite is the original light beer, and we'll always brew it to have more taste, with only 96 calories and 3.2 carbs. Because we believe that if you compromise on taste, you can taste the compromise. Miller Lite. Hold true.
Great beer, great responsibility. 2018 Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Average analysis, 12 fluid ounces. Less than 1 gram protein, 0 grams fat.
What I want from my public accounting firm is big ideas.
But I don't want to lose the personal attention.
My company needs global capabilities.
From a firm with local ownership.
And I want to work with industry experts.
Who take the time to understand my unique challenges. And that's what sets Schneider Downs apart. Expertise for the most complex business issues. With the service you need every day. To learn how our big thinking with a personal focus can help your company, visit schneiderdowns.com.
If you're one of the thousands of Western Pennsylvanians who love to get outdoors, then you need to check out this amazing new website, stepoutside.org. Hi, I'm Dan Kovacevic of DK Sports Radio. I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. I know about the outdoor life that's available to all of us in Western Pennsylvania. Learn where, when, and how you can go camping, hiking, hunting, take part in power sports, shooting sports, water sports in your local community, across our region, across the country at stepoutside.org.
In Pittsburgh, we bleed black and gold and love our city. Born in Pittsburgh and now celebrating 130 years in business, Henny Jewelers is proud to be your premier jewelry store. Whether it's choosing that watch you've always wanted or you're searching for the ring that was made for her, trust Henny Jewelers. Visit our store on Walnut Street in Shadyside to see our extensive inventory of designer engagement rings, watches, and one-of-a-kind jewelry. For more, go to hennyjewelers.com and follow on social.
Embarrassed by that stained carpet in your office? Tired of looking at your dull, dirty floor? My Floor Needs is here to fix that. With years of experience and 24/7 service, My Floor Needs offers stripping and waxing, carpet, tile, grout, and concrete cleaning, as well as polishing and buffing services. Call 888-67-MY-FLOOR or email info@myfloorneeds.com for a free estimate and get your floors looking like new again. Whatever your floor needs, call 888-67-MY-FLOOR.
Does your company ever miss its sales goals or struggle getting new business?
Is it tough to hire or to give reps the right tools?
Hi, I'm Dan, and I started Engaged Prospect right here in Pittsburgh to help companies like yours.
And I'm Sam. We're helping companies hit sales goals and grow their businesses.
Think of us as your inside sales team.
Our clients are experts in their fields. We're experts in inside sales.
Give us a call today at 412-715-5151.
Or visit us online at engagedprospect.com/DK.
It's been 50 years since the Summer of Love, but if you're not performing as well as you'd like, check out NEDforless.com. I'm Eric Cushy of Curtis Pharmacy. Don't pay premium prices for the little blue pill. So Denafil, the same active ingredient as in Viagra, costs 80% less. NEDforless.com. All we need is your physician's name. We do the rest. Free shipping, too. NDDforless.com. Curtis Pharmacy, Western PA's Better Way Pharmacy. CurtisPharmacy.com.
Welcome back to DK Sports Radio. You're listening to the Carter Six Pack. And now for the recap. We started at number 6. We said Terry Bradshaw with his Super Bowl 13 performance of 318 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Number 5 was Franco Harris on Super Bowl 9. Number 4 was Santonio Holmes in Super Bowl 43. Number 3 was Lynn Swann in Super Bowl 10. Number 2 was John Stallworth in Super Bowl 13.
Number 1.
Number 1, and probably the one that you wouldn't even thinking about. I'm going to give a shout out to my man with the golden shoes, L.C. Greenwood. And what? You're like, what? Where? How did L.C. Greenwood get in this? The man was part of the steel curtain that defined that defense in Super Bowl 10. Most people don't know that long before that sacks were named an official stat, he sacked Roger Staubach 4 times in that game. That is unheard of. The most sacks that have officially been recorded in total Super Bowl history is 4.5 from Charles Haley, who played several times in the Super Bowl. Greenwood got 4 sacks in a single game, limiting Roger Staubach, arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he kept that. He was part of the reason they were able to keep that Cowboys offense in check that was lighting up the league left and right. He also had 2 passes batted in Super Bowl 9, one of which was eventually caught by Joe Green, who was an honorable mention on this list, as well as James Harrison and Willie Parker and several other guys. But L.C. Greenwood, I'm making him my top guy because he does not get enough love, and that man needs to get himself in the Hall of Fame. He's, I know it's post-mortem. He passed away, sadly, but someone needs to honor this man, get him the respect he deserves. He's a part of the steel curtain. He was an essential part of it, and he should be honored in the Hall of Fame, giving him a posthumous golden jacket. But that being said, L.C. Greenwood, I gotta say, my personal experience, I met him one time, really nice guy, and he made fun of me when I said I came up and he saw how young I was. He's like, "You don't know who I am." And I said, "Yeah, man, you're the dude with the yellow shoes." And he said, golden shoes, my brother. And that was when I was like, and then we clicked immediately. It was shortly before he passed. I was truly honored to be able to meet him. I got him to sign a book that I was giving to my father. But yeah, L.C. Greenwood, I'm putting him in my top Super Bowl hero just because you don't hear about him enough, and if it wasn't for him, that Cowboys offense might have found a way to get it done. And that was the Carter Six-Pack. reviewing the top 6 Super Bowl heroes in Pittsburgh Steelers history. Drop a comment here on DKPittsburghSports.com. Let me know what you think. One, about the list itself, but also about future lists you want us to talk about on the Carter 6-pack. Be sure to interact with us on Twitter. We got at Carter Critiques. You can also hit up at DK Pittsburgh Sports. Drop us a comment. If you hate my guts, let me know. Tell me what it is, and we can rap about it at a future date. From Chris Carter, DK Sports Radio, thanks for listening.